Hey everyone, it's me, Terrell Mobley again. So, you guys are probably wondering, why, what was up with all those videos in my YouTube channel and then they just disappear? Well, that's because after looking back at the YouTube videos I made, I realized that I messed up. As in, y'all could hear my voice, but y'all couldn't hear what was going on the video. So, yeah, that was my bad. But I'm gonna do a retake. Part 2 of me trying to react to 3 videos, and yeah. Today I'm reacting to Brody Animate's video, getting a girlfriend, because, well, I need as much advice as possible because, well, I'm trying to look for a girlfriend myself, but it's hard. I can barely even make friends, mainly because I'm mostly of an introvert. Yeah, that's the main issue for me. I'm too much of an introvert. And also I got a few symptoms going on with me. But I already told you my symptoms from one short ago. I'm not gonna deep dive into that. Right now, I'm gonna focus on the now, which is reacting to this video. So let's get into this.
As you may know, I'm in a long-term relationship. Suck it, losers. This is my girlfriend, Izzy. And while we have a very strong relationship and love each other to bits, the journey here was a bumpy one. Now, there are a hell of a lot of things no one tells you about relationships that I had to learn the hard way. But first, let me take you back to before I knew what I was getting into, our first date.
Brother.
We had been friends in school for a while, and I quickly realized I had feelings for this girl. Feelings I'd never had for someone before. I started sitting next to her every day, doing my hair, dressing nicer, taking breath mints, all to eventually, finally build up the phenomenal courage to let her ask me out.
What?
Yeah, okay, she asked me first. My flirting style of standing around awkwardly until they fall in love was apparently irresistible. Way to go, Brody. Now future you will never hear the end of this.
Suck it, loser!
We decided to see Top Gun Maverick together, and let me tell you, I cannot remember a single thing that happened in that movie.
Really?
All I could focus on was how to do the move.
Ah, yes.
You know,
good old move.
the movie date move. The yawn and shoulder. The old wraparound. The infamous, are you cold? But I was just too anxious to do it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't care what you tell me.
Even
I'm
though
gonna
I
have to fly
never
that plane and I'm gonna have to fly it good.
Do it, man! What if she's just waiting for you to do it, and the fact that you
his
haven't yet is
conscience.
making her nervous? Or what if she totally hates you, and if you do it, she'll think you're a total creep? How will he know if he doesn't go for it? He's gonna remember this night no matter what, I guarantee that. Fine, how about he just sits here doing nothing and they just stay friends who awkwardly went on a date and Brody can never talk to a girl again? Alright, I get it!
That's what the plane's for.
Okay, I'm doing the move. Yes, I literally said this.
Ain't no
I'm the
way.
plane guy.
He
Planes
actually
are my thing.
said that.
Planes are my life.
Oh, I can't believe he did it.
He actually did it.
By all means, the movie was a success.
Yeah.
Whatever happened in there. Tom Cruise eating airline food or whatever. But the date wasn't over
who
yet.
cares
There
about
was
those-
still another
those
date night
airplane
cliche to spike my
movies.
anxiety.
I guess.
Well, that was a good
Time
movie,
to
huh?
Finish this
Yeah,
skit.
I loved the planes.
And I love the guys. I mean, not like that.
Hey, yo.
Well, hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, me too. Me too. She wants you to do it! Just do it, you coward! Be a man! Do it!
Do it for the
Can I
content.
kiss you?
Sure. Okay, I'll see you at school.
He did it. He actually did it.
She likes me! I can't believe it! Yeah!
We did it! We kissed! And
Yeah.
everything's been smooth sailing from there.
You don't need to lie to us. Bro.
Breaking news! My girlfriend's birthday is next month and I just spent all my money on new rims for my Mustang.
Yeah.
This video is sponsored by Opera.
Okay, sorry guys. I have to skip this little ad in here. I just gotta. Okay, there we go. Back to the video.
Believe, but that's a damn good deal. Link in the description and back to the video. A few months into our relationship, I had the brilliant idea to take Izzy camping. It would
Nice.
be picturesque. I'd
I would love
wow
to
her
go
with my
camping
masculine
someday.
wilderness skills, treat her to some s'mores, and we'd gaze into the cosmos as we drift off into a rosy slumber.
That would
So
sound
we packed up our
beautiful.
supplies and wheeled off to
If
the
only people
campsite.
could
Right
actually
away,
do
I got
that.
to setting up this old tent I borrowed from my dad. After I spent 1,000 years detangling the wire monster of a tent and setting it up, I realized something was missing. Does that look unstable to you?
Their tent is flying.
Might be a little lopsided.
Our tent literally started flying away. Apparently, the random tent from my dad's garage didn't have pegs.
Sorry
It
about
was
that.
one ugly kite. But I was not ready to
can't
give up
believe
yet.
that.
We will have our Instagram-worthy date or we will die trying. So, we hopped in my truck and drove all the way back into town to
knew
go to
that tents could
Walmart.
actually
After we
just
got
fly
a
away?
shiny new $30 tent, since apparently you can't just buy pegs, I was genuinely frustrated. Nothing had gone to plan, and it was the first time Izzy had ever seen me angry. I sloppily threw the tent up and started working on a fire. Maybe I could salvage my masculinity if I got this right. But when I went to grab the materials, well, it turns out my masculinity had a bigger part in packing our bag than I did.
Uh-oh.
I had packed nothing but a flint and steel and a survival knife.
Really?
Before we had gone camping, I'd bragged to
Minecraft
Izzy about
Brody.
going to wilderness camp one time when I was 13 and that I can start a fire with practically nothing. So there it is in my bag. Practically nothing. I tried and failed, and it just wasn't happening. Izzy even found some
that's what
matches, but
happens
those wouldn't work either.
when you're in a
I even
relationship.
resorted to burning some of our homework to
Guys
get it
are always
started, to
trying
no
to-
avail.
Trying
Sorry,
to
Mr.
show
Guns.
off their,
Oh, this is so stupid.
Do you
Their
mind if
skills
I
to-
give it a try?
to their
Fine,
girlfriends.
whatever. I mean, I went to frickin' wilderness camp when I was 13, but for kicks and giggles, let's have you give it a go. Get out.
What?
So we finally got our s'mores and
He was
hot
all like,
dogs.
"Get out."
No thanks to me.
No.
And after an uncomfortably cold night of sleep, we went home. With a caveat that our next date would be more normal. And hey, if there's one thing I accomplished on our trip, it was making a memory.
Sorry
For
about
better
that.
or worse.
I'm a bit
Despite
tired.
all the glaring red flags,
always a
such
bit
as
tired.
collecting Mario plushes, having idiotic friends, dude, and being a YouTuber, she still wanted to be with me somehow. But that's not
You
to
know,
say
I
the
always
red flags
wondered,
were all on
why
my
do
side.
people-
There were tons of things
people
that
don't like
definitely
YouTubers
were
that
not
much.
outlined in the terms and conditions. First of all,
Especially
as a
YouTubers
boyfriend,
themselves
you
don't like
forfeit your
YouTubers.
right to hoodies. They belong to your partner now.
What?
One time, Izzy asked
Are you gonna wear that?
to a hoodie I was currently wearing. Yeah?
Well, that's too bad.
Well, how did you, what? After living together, you may get the treat of doing laundry for your partner. And
That's
going from
crazy.
men's clothing to women's clothing,
I
on
mean,
top
it
of
should be
having
fine,
zero
since I'll be
pockets and
buying,
no
like,
sizing standards
a lot
at
of
all,
hoodies when I'm
it
older.
simply makes no sense.
I mean, it's women's
What
clothing.
the-
What do you expect?
That doesn't make any... That's impossible!
He's
What
defeated.
happened in here?
I'm not strong enough.
He got
Secondly,
defeated by
Izzy has a
women's clothing.
software glitch that prevents her from picking up her phone when it is most necessary. This cannot be fixed. I go to the supermarket to pick up something she asked for and call her to double check. No. She has vanished from this mortal plane. But the moment I leave the store, she's right there to call and tell me it's completely the wrong thing.
Bruh.
Another thing I definitely wasn't prepared for was the hoarding. I'm a textbook young
Hoarding?
dude. If I was single and left unattended, I would live in a studio apartment with a single TV, camping chair, and mini fridge.
True.
Actually, the apartment is optional. But my
That would-
perspective is
that would
not
be what
shared.
I want
Izzy
to do.
holds on to everything. I'm talking about homework projects from 5th grade, receipts from 10 years ago, and blankets or clothing that are just begging to be put out of their misery. Look, I'm all
rough.
for sentimentality, but I fail to see how a receipt for rat poison and ravioli from 6 months ago is supposed to be useful.
Wait.
Although, I'm not blameless in this. When we first got together, I promised Izzy that every month I would give her a new Squishmallow.
Really?
You know, those egg-shaped plushes that drive people crazy. which is really
Don't
cute
make
when you first
promises
get
you can't
together.
keep, buddy.
But after a couple of years, they've slowly and inevitably taken over our home, and I'm afraid if we turn the lights off, they will take over our souls. It also didn't take long for me to become the designated driver of our relationship. Not like she's incapable of driving or anything, she just slightly makes me fear for my
Honestly,
life.
I would just
She's
let
a
my
passenger
my
princess,
girlfriend,
if you will.
if
And
I
that
had
term is
one,
fitting. She's over there
just,
kicking
you
off
know,
her shoes and
drive
scrolling Instagram
us to
reels while
places.
I'm trying to navigate downtown Calgary at peak rush hour. But naturally, this does not stop her from commenting on my driving or, quote unquote, helping me out.
No, brother.
Stop!
What? What is it?
Babe, are you trying to kill us?
What? Bruh.
But in fairness, I'm a bit of a kitchen king. I can cook an absolutely mean macaroni and cheese,
Nice.
but otherwise I'm better left on the sidelines.
Oh.
So cooking together usually goes a little something like this.
I someday plan on,
Don't touch that.
you know, cooking.
That's sugar.
I someday plan on working on my cooking skills
Oh.
myself.
Why don't you go grill the steaks, hun?
You want me to put meat on hot metal and stand still until it's done?
Mm-hmm.
Yay, I'm helping! Recently,
And he
Bryson,
says that
Izzy, and
he's
I
the
were
one
all
with
sitting
the
together
idiotic
on a flight to
friends.
Anaheim for VidCon. Now, I'm pretty tall at 6'2", but Izzy dunks over me at a Goliath 6'5". So, needless to say, standard plane seats are not our friend. We knew going in that our knees would be assaulted. But we were excited about our destination,
being
so
tall
we grit
can
our
be
teeth
useful
and
for
took
some
off.
things,
Not
and
long
then-
after, the guy in front of Izzy
then it
just
could
flies
also be
backwards,
a huge
digging into Izzy's
disadvantage.
kneecaps. I immediately sprung into defense mode and tapped the guy on the shoulder. I told him, "Hey, can you put your seat back? My girlfriend is very tall." To which he nodded and complied. Sublime! I happily
Yeah.
turned back to continue beating Bryson in Smash Bros. Because he sucks. But
It's
not
funny
even
of how
5
he
minutes
can-
go by, and he just
can
does
beat
it
people
again.
in
So
Mario
I
Kart,
quickly
but
tapped
not
on his
in
shoulder
Super
again.
Smash Bros.
Hey, could you put your seat back? My girlfriend is still tall. Actually, no. I'm trying to sleep here, and the way you asked was actually very disrespectful.
But he asked
It's a
the same
2-hour
way.
flight, and dude, I asked you nicely. Look, that's just not the way we do things around here. Around where?
Who's we?
I get it. I'm 6'2", but the guy in front of me reclined, so now I have no room either. Now let me sleep.
Just ask him to move forward.
What? No. We
Bruh.
quickly got into an argument, and Bryson and Izzy chimed in to tell this dude off. But there was no negotiating with this moron. I looked at Izzy and asked,
Toxic
"Do you
guy."
want me to push his chair forward?" But not wanting to escalate the situation, Izzy rightfully said no. She couldn't even recline herself since our seats were right beside the bathroom wall. All we could do was stare at his cul-de-sac-looking bald spot and imagine
Just
plucking
look at
his
that
dwindling hairs from his thumb-shaped head.
Okay,
So
honestly,
when
that
he
would be
briefly
me.
leaned forward to get his drink from the flight attendant, I stuck my knee behind him and
Like, I
made
have
sure he
a
couldn't
lot of
recline.
anger
He
issues.
looked at us, getting more and more irritated and trying to force it back, but I wouldn't budge. Eventually, he asked the attendant to sit somewhere else, but the plane was full, and I held my ground all the way until the plane landed. I beat him. And to sweeten the victory, when this dude stood up, he was barely 5'6".
Look at how
if he's
short he
6'2", I'm Shaquille O'Neal. Lastly, a quick PSA for anyone entering a relationship for the first time. There are unspoken rules as a partner that you must abide by. You're gonna want to write these down. If you go to a
Crap, I don't
restaurant,
got a
you
pencil and
will be taking the
pencil
crap of your
paper on
seat,
me.
and you will be calling over the waiter if their order is wrong. If you're playing Minecraft, turn keep inventory on. Swallow your pride, gamers. Go play hardcore on your own time. Many relationships have fallen to the nether. If they ask you to do something
Good
when
thing I
you're
don't
free,
play Minecraft.
they're asking you to do it now. If they ask you to do it in a few minutes, they're asking you to do it 10 minutes ago. So get on it. Now, go! If they put down their phone, you put down your phone. It is no longer phone time.
Got it.
Apparently.
Thankfully,
Unless
I
they
don't have a phone,
specifically
but
ask
I
you
probably
to,
will get
don't try to solve their problems for them. Just listen. This is the first thing Brock told me when I got into a relationship, and it's true. This list goes on
Ah.
forever, and I'm still adding to it, but this will hold you over for a few weeks.
Great.
Despite everything, I
That's
wanted to
very great.
genuinely say that relationships are worth it. I talked about all the funny stuff here, but if I talked about everything I love about Izzy, I'd never shut up. Even though I made fun of her a ton in this video, I really love and appreciate Izzy more than words can convey.
Aw,
She
that's so
seriously is
sweet.
the best, and is very awesome and cool and pretty. And I would still love her if she was a worm.
I need to know you mean it!
Did he seriously get kicked out for saying that? Ugh. You know, that is the crazy thing about, like, most relationships. Like, whenever you're in a relationship with someone, the boy or girl will always ask the infamous question, would you still love me if I was a worm? For all those in a relationship, always say yes. And you've got to really show that you mean it. If you don't want to lose your relationship with that person. Anyways, yeah, that was great. I loved it. It was funny. And yeah, I'll probably use those like key things about about being in a relationship in the near future. But anyways, you guys should go check out his YouTube channel, and yeah, see you guys later and have a great day. Bye bye.